The film begins with a young man entering a building that appears to be a bank, asking one of the employees for a loan of 10 million baht, approximately $3,000, to build a factory. Intrigued, the bank manager asks for a reason to lend him money, to which he begins to explain his history. 16-year-old Itthipat enjoys gaming. One day while playing, a guy asks him for a rare in-game item for real-world cash. This was Top's first foray into the business world. After that, he made a lot of money by selling rare in-game items, which he used to buy a car. Later, he takes the car to his school to show off but is caught by the principal, who calls his parents and tells them about it. His parents are upset and tell Top to stop playing and focus on studying, which he disregards. He fails to get into a public university as a result of not studying, but he doesn't care and continues to play more games. To play more games, he buys a new PS2 and DVD player at a big discount from a shop, and while trying to sneak them in, he gets caught by his mother, who asks him to enter a private university, which leads to a quarrel between both of his parents. Top decides to pay his tuition fees on his own, but is unable to do so because his account has been suspended due to commercial activity. Determined, Top decides to sell DVD players but is duped by the shop owner, who sells him damaged goods. Seeing that Top has failed, his father recommends that he attend university, and gives him the money, which he refuses by saying, "I'm not your employee." Top breaks into his father's room at night and steals a pendant, which he sells at a shop for 100,000 baht. He uses the money from the sale to attend a private university, but soon becomes bored and begins to skip classes. He skips class one day and goes to a food processor exposition at a mall to eat for free. There, he finds an automatic peanut cooker, which he rents out to establish his own business. He visits other vendors and learns how to properly cook it. His mother compliments him on his food since it is really delicious, and later, Top and his uncle establish a tenant in a mall. However, it fails due to a lack of consumers. When he was with his girlfriend, he noticed a fundraising group beside a restroom, and realizes that location is important in business, so he chooses to move the site of his store. After shifting places, his sales begin to increase, and he employs more staff to build his business. After discovering Top's business, his girlfriend reminds him to return to school, but he refuses and continues to pursue his ambition of starting a business. As he was thinking that everything was going well, his business fails because he can't conduct business in malls, since the smoke from peanut frying pollutes the building. To make matters worse, he discovers that his family is in debt, and that they are traveling to China to live with his brother. Top chooses to stay behind to continue conducting business, in order to pay off the debt, but he soon discovers that he must close all of his stores due to the same issue, and he also learns that his house will be confiscated by the bank shortly. Feeling depressed, Top is on his way to meet his lover. While he is driving her home, she feeds him fried seaweed that she got from overseas. After eating one fried seaweed, he can't stop eating it since it is so delicious. Top intends to offer fried seaweed as his next product, but there is a major stumbling block in his path. He has no idea how to preserve fried seaweed. He travels to a well-known university, and seeks a professor for assistance. After hearing his story, she decides to assist Top. She explains to Top that he must suck the air out of the pack in order to keep the fried seaweed alive. Top sells all of his peanut cookers, after learning how to preserve them, and purchases new equipment to fry seaweed. But all of his first attempts were failures because the fried seaweed tasted bitter every time. When he ran out of raw seaweed to cook with, he sold all of his computers and electronics to buy more raw seaweed. While bringing the new ingredients, Top discovered his uncle lying on the ground after an accident. He quickly takes his uncle to the hospital. That night, a bunch of raw seaweed fell to the ground and was soaked by rain. Top continues his try with the fresh items he got, but he again fails. Later, he runs out of raw seaweed to cook, which is when he spots the bag of seaweed on the floor. After frying it, he finds it pleasant, and he delivers some fried seaweed to his uncle to surprise him. Following his recovery, Top and his uncle begin selling fried seaweed at a mall and are successful. Top intended to use this firm to pay off his debts, and was hoping to make 1 million baht each year. That's when his parents call him. He asks them how much the debt is, and his father informs him that it's 40 million baht, about $1.2 million. Top's hope of repaying the loan with his fried seaweed company is dashed, because fried seaweed doesn't produce much money. When Top goes to a nearby convenience shop to find something to eat, he gets the idea to sell his goods there. He goes to the 7-Eleven headquarters the next day, and pitches his product to the director. However, he was rejected due to the items, price, and packaging. On the very day he broke up with his girlfriend because she couldn't understand him. The next day, Top visits a local designer, and commissions a cover for his product. He takes his products to 7-Eleven after repacking them, but because he didn't make any appointments, he wasn't able to meet the director, who was too busy that day, so he gives the box to the security guard in the elevator and leaves the office. On his way back, he calls his mother, and tells her that he wants to visit China. Fortunately, some staff discovers and like Top's product, which piques the director's interest. The following day, 7-Eleven summons Top to the office to notify him that his product passed, and he is the youngest businessman to ever work with 7-Eleven. The director informs Top that he must provide 72,000 bags to 3,000 locations, in addition to having a factory that will be inspected by 7-Eleven to ensure that his products satisfy the company's requirements. Top seeks a loan from a bank in desperation. The bank manager is moved by Top's narrative and wishes to lend him money, but he is unable to do so because Top is just 19 years old and his family is in debt. He, on the other hand, did not give up. He travels to his parents' old shop, which is being seized by the bank, and chooses to set up his factory there. Later, he sells his car and uses the money to rebuild the factory and hire new employees. The director arrives at Top's factory with an inspector to check it. However, they are dissatisfied with the firm's hygiene. The director informs Top that they will first discuss it, and then fax the results. Top's uncle encourages him to bribe them, but he declines because he does not want to harm his parents' reputation. Top is pleased when he learns that his factory has been approved, and he immediately ramps up production to match the required quantity. Finally, the day arrives for him to deliver the items. Before departing, he embraces his uncle and tells him that this will be his last venture, and that if he fails, he will return to China to live with his parents. When he arrived at the warehouse, the manager informed him that his cargo was 1 hour late, and thus could not be accepted. After considerable persuasion, he convinces the manager to accept the package, and then he contacts his father and tells him to return to Thailand. Top pays off his parents' 40 million baht debt after 2 years of collaboration with 7-Eleven, and lives in the same house as his parents. The film The Billionaire is based on the true tale of Top Itthipat, a young man who dropped out of university at the age of 19 to start his own business.